We have some major breaking news as the ruling has officially come out that NASCAR's motion to dismiss the lawsuit between 2011 Front Row and NASCAR has been officially denied, and the motion for the bond that they were asking for 2011 and Front Row Motorsports has also been denied. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to the video. As I just said a second ago, we got some pretty massive and major breaking news in regards to updates on the 2311 and Front Row Motorsports lawsuit going up against NASCAR when it comes to antitrust claims. Here's what was reported by Bob Pockers just a few minutes ago. Here's the ruling. NASCAR motion to dismiss is denied. Its motion for bond has also been denied. They obviously, or we talked about this on the channel a couple days ago, but NASCAR in 2011 Front Row and the lawyers all met in court going and meeting Kenneth Bell, who for the first time was seeing the proceedings in regards to the lawsuit. NASCAR presented their arguments a couple days ago in regards to the motion to dismiss the lawsuit and the bonds as well, and he had NASCAR and the teams going against each other. And it seemed like the judge, from what he had said, he was pretty much going to go ahead and let this lawsuit continue going on. And this is pretty much what was expected. NASCAR obviously was wanting the motion to dismiss the case. They wanted the lawsuit to go completely away as a whole, so they didn't have the potential possibility of going to discovery. With this basic decision being made, and you had NASCAR calling the RTA and the teams that got the charters like 2011 Front Row and Michael Jordan a cartel, same with Front Row Motorsports as well, and you had basically the team saying they couldn't go and run a different series, while NASCAR was trying to argue for them to go race in Formula 1 and IndyCar, which really didn't make any sense, in my opinion, on that front, because it's not apples or oranges, which is I completely agree with what Jeffrey Kessler said. This is not really shocking and surprising, and this is a really, really big win for 2311 and Front Row Motorsports and everybody involved in that as well. Why is this huge? Because this lawsuit is going to continue on going forward. And I think for the teams involved in the lawsuit, 2311 and Front Row, this means that the lawsuit can proceed. Now, obviously, we do not know the decision on the appeal at this point. We don't know when NASCAR is going to file an appeal for those charter transfers to take place. I have to think with this bond ruling coming into play that I think it's going to be much more difficult for them to win their appeal. They will try to appeal the charter transfers that went through. We know that Front Row Motorsports is expanding to a 3-car operation in 2025. For, of course, Todd Gillen, the 34, Noah Gragson in the 4, and Zane Smith in the number 38, while 2311 Racing is also expanding to a 3-car operation in 2025, with Bubba Wallace in the 23, Tyler Reddick in the 45, and Riley Hurst joining the team in the number 35. We still don't have an official decision on the appeal, and apparently NASCAR still has not fully filed their appeal yet at this time, which, with only about 3 weeks till the start of the season at this point, I feel like you would kind of, if you're in NASCAR's shoes, you would want to go ahead and try to file the appeal. I feel like NASCAR's arguments yesterday or a couple days ago when the proceedings took place, I feel like they were going to have a much more difficult time of getting it dismissed. I think the teams provided a very strong argument, and ever since Kenneth Bell has come in to be part of this lawsuit, taking over Frank Whitney, who kind of recused himself from this case, I thought it was going to be much more difficult for the teams to lose this case and NASCAR to win this lawsuit at this point. Now, the lawsuit can proceed as a whole. So here's what's basically going to happen at this point. Discovery is going to take place, I believe, in July of this year or September. I think they have till September 19th or September 20th to file motions for discovery. And then basically on December 1st, and the judge basically reiterated on December 1st of 2025, the trial date is going to take place. Now, NASCAR could, if they wanted to, they could try to reach a settlement with 2011 and Front Row, and that could happen before the end of the year, before the trial even takes place in the first place. However, judging by the judge's ruling, I don't think this lawsuit is going to be ending anytime soon. And as more information does come out throughout this lawsuit, we will cover it here. But I think this is a massive, massive win for the teams because NASCAR was trying to dismiss the lawsuit, wanted it to go away, which I understand on their part. They don't want to be part of a lawsuit. But at the same token, same time, NASCAR put themselves in this position. Quintessentially, what the teams are wanting is they're wanting to change the sport on the financial side of things. We all know the business model currently at the moment is not sustainable. Now, granted, the teams are expected to get around 47 to 48% of the TV revenue for 2025, which is the biggest revenue of anybody. But NASCAR has full control of how much of that revenue can go to the teams. And basically, NASCAR's argument about basically them suffering irreparable harm, to me, really did not make any sense to them. I get the money side of things there, but it's, again, at the same token and same time, I feel like that, like I said, it was going to be much more difficult for them to get this motion for the case to be dismissed. And I think, like I already mentioned, it is a major, major win for the teams involved in the lawsuit. Now, one big question that's going to get brought up throughout this, will we see other teams potentially join the lawsuit going forward? I would think that Stewart-Haas Racing, with the charter approval coming through, I don't think they're going to join. But what about teams like Richard Childress Racing? Especially after his NASCAR's comments about calling the teams a cartel, I would have to think you're going to see some teams that are part of that RTA, like teams like RCR, maybe other organizations like Hendrick could join the lawsuit going forward, and you're going to have more power and more arms. And it could lead to better negotiation terms for everybody involved. That's what the lawsuit is probably going to do, is that when it comes to the negotiating table, which NASCAR, if they wanted to, they could go back to the negotiating table if they wanted to, but it doesn't seem like at this point it's very, very likely that they're truly going to go back to the negotiating table. Again, I'm very happy for the teams at this point. It's good to see. I mean, it's interesting to see, right? And it's a big win for the teams as a whole. And I think overall, early in this lawsuit, like I've already mentioned many, many times on the channel, I think NASCAR had the upper hand advantage. But as the weeks have gone on and the new judge came in and stuff's getting moved along very, very quickly, it seems very likely at this point that NASCAR is in a much more deeper position, a much more difficult position to win the lawsuit at this point. While I do think that 2011 and Front Row Motorsports are in a much better position as a whole. And I think that NASCAR is going to change in a big way going forward. I think the sport as we know it currently at the moment is going to change. Whether it's for the better or for the worse is to be determined. It's hoping for the better. I think, especially with the economic side, I think making the sport better and more sustainable for the teams involved, I think that's what we really want at this point. I do get fans not being fans of the charter system, but you need charters in the sport at this point, especially when teams have spent millions upon millions of dollars of buying charters up. I think they really had no option and no choice to get this charter system to continue rolling. Again, I think it's a big win for the teams overall as a whole, and I'm not going to say glad to see, but good to see at least that the case will continue on and potential changes could be coming to the lawsuit going forward. As more information comes out, we'll cover here on the channel, and we'll cover more information as time progresses and goes on. So, that is going to be today's special breaking news on 2011 Front Row, and then basically the lawsuit updates. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel with notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's go over that and comment your thoughts below on today's episode. What are your thoughts about the lawsuit updates we talked about today on the channel? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If there's any other major news that does break today on the channel, we'll discuss here live. If not, I'm not quite sure what's going to be dropping tomorrow on the channel at this point. There's going to be some special content dropping. Of course, we will be taking an early dive look into the Xfinity Series lineup very, very soon, probably in the next week or so. And we'll probably be doing a race review of the Chili Bowl coming up in the next week. We'll have content on people like Hailie Deegan, Connor Zilla, Shane Van Gisberg, Carson Quaffle, Carl Edwards, Kurt Busch, Bubba Wallace, Tyler Reddick, Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, Ryan Preece, Brad Keselowski, like I said, Hailie Deegan, Sheldon Creed, Sam Mayer, Eric Almirola, Chandler Smith, Carson Quaffle, you name it. We'll talk about all those people on the channel as we get close to the start of 2025 for NASCAR. We're only about 3 weeks away, looking forward to the start of the season. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.